Tonight, an update to our ongoing investigation involving more than $100 million in missing money meant to help care for disabled people.
Tonight, a once loyal employee of Pinellas County businessman Leo Gavani, the man at the center of the scandal, is speaking out. 8 on Your Side investigator Brittany Muller joining us in studio. And Brittany, this man has a call to action to help the victims.
Keith, Jen, he does. Wait until you hear Bill Cole's story, but first I want to catch you up. Last month, a federal bankruptcy judge found Bay Area businessman Leo Gavani liable for $120 million in missing money from his now bankrupt nonprofit. No one was more stunned than his employee, Bill Cole.
Bill Cole is a former executive chef at Big Storm Brewery who has a long history with Leo Gavani. Leo and his son LJ ran Big Storm's 5 locations.
My family goes back to knowing the Gavanis when Leo Gavani was just starting out in the industry and in the business in Boston and Danvers, Mass.
How so? What year was that?
We're talking back in the 60s and 70s. My mother grew up in the same hometown as Leo's wife, Jane. They knew each other growing up.
When Cole was rushed to the hospital with a stroke, he says the Gavanis had his back.
Beside my bedside was Leo Gavani, LJ Gavani, and Jane Gavani. While they were waiting for my wife to get there, they sat there and stayed with me and held my hand, literally held my hand to make sure I was okay.
So when stories started to break out about millions in missing money at Leo Gavani's other business, the Center for Special Needs Trust Administration in St. Petersburg, Bill Cole threw his support behind the family.
I stood behind them when the protesters were out in front of the brewery.
Then in February of last year, the Center for Special Needs Trust filed for bankruptcy, and the story of over $100 million in missing funds meant to help disabled people and their families grew larger.
Things started to click, Brittany. It's like something's not right here.
We tracked Leo Gavani down to get his side of the story, but he drove off without saying a word.
Where's the money? Have you heard from the FBI? What would you say to the disabled people who relied on you?
Teresa Schlosser and her daughter Sarah were among those who counted on Gavani.
I'm beyond furious. My daughter is confined to a bed for the rest of her life, and yet he is going and getting her money.
Schlosser says Sarah's missing nearly $200,000 that was placed in the trust. Their story was too much for Bill Cole.
You've got that poor Teresa Schlosser's daughter waiting in bed for a chair for over a year because somebody made bad decisions. Well, it's time for somebody to step up and do something about that.
Cole says everyone can make a difference by helping those left hurting by Gavani's mismanagement at the Center for Special Needs.
Leo's made his bed. He can sleep in it. My challenge is for people to step up and do something for the victims.
That challenge that Bill Cole is talking about is for businesses across the state of Florida and the country who did business with the Gavani family to step up and adopt a victim. He believes that this may be a good first step to help them as they wait for this case to move through the courts.
Certainly a kind gesture, but I mean, it's a lot of victims out there. How many are we talking?
Right. Court documents revealed that there could be more than 2,000 victims. We're talking about disabled people with catastrophic injuries that are waiting